Hi again then guys, and so we've got another GranTurismo 6 top speed tune for you today, and this time it's for a slightly underappreciated model. It's the Honda Accord Coupe. Personally, I think this is a really good looking car. It's one of the quickest front wheel drive cars in the game, significantly faster also than the Accord Euro R models. So I would recommend racing soft tyres, but obviously we all have our personal preferences there. For suspension, I've got the ride height on 110 front and rear, springs on 675 and 425, dampers to 4, anti-roll on 6, camber on 2.5, neutral toe. For the gearbox, the highest possible auto setting. Then for the individual gears, we've got 2.5, 1575, 1.1, 820, 640 and 525 with a final drive of 4.5. For the diff, the lowest initial torque, and acceleration and braking, we've got both on 30. All the power upgrades, of course, and I'd recommend using the high RPM turbo rather than the supercharger. I would recommend having NOS, and obviously the full weight loss package. Traction control I would definitely recommend turning off, and it does have an unusually high amount of camber on this particular car. Now incidentally, if you plan to use this more as a track car that just happens to have this particular setup, I would recommend taking the camber off completely. Just have the camber on 0 if you do plan on using it as a track car, because it makes the handling much better. I would say that about any front wheel drive car. Literally any of them and all of them handle better with no camber whatsoever. However, for high speed tracks, front wheel drive cars do generally have a strong tendency to weave all over the road once they get up to around 230, 240, that kind of speed. And that's certainly the case with this car. Now, one of the advantages of a front wheel drive car is it's pretty hard to spin out with, especially at high speed, because being front wheel drive, it's as though the car is being pulled forward rather than being pushed forward as it would be with a rear wheel drive car. Now obviously that's not really the case, but that's the effect that it has on the handling. It's like, in effect, pulling a trolley behind you instead of pushing it in front of you. You have much more control over it if you pull it behind you. Likewise with the front wheel drive, you can feel that stability that they have. The tail just follows the front end as far as handling goes, and increasing the camber does keep the car straight and true much better. You may want to increase it a little bit more. Depends on personal preference, of course. Like I said though, I personally think this is a pretty nice car. Kind of underappreciated, you don't see that many people using it. But I personally really love the look of this car, especially from the front. I think it's a very classy looking vehicle. And as I said, it is one of the quickest front drivers in the game. It cruises at about 233, 234, which is pretty impressive for a front wheel drive car on GranTurismo. As far as draft potential, you've got around, say, 600-ish RPM, so you should be able to slipstream this up around probably 250, maybe 255-ish. So, of course, if you do need it to do more than that with draft, just extend the final drive a little bit more. But overall, it's a very good car. If you haven't tried this car before, it's a very good front-wheel drive car to have in your repertoire, because it's a strong straight-line performer that many people overlook. So if you decide to use this car, and of course this tune, I hope of course you find it fun and competitive. And if you're new to the channel, or just found this helpful or interesting in general, and would like to keep up with new tunes and videos like this as soon as they come out, be sure to smack that subscribe button. And as always, thanks for watching.